Evening guys, hope you're all doing well. Currently smoking my own bent Rhodesian, and in it some Peef and Tim No Name Gold, which is a Virginia Perique made by Dan Tobacco, and it's a blend I'm really enjoying just now. So today's video, just kind of a roundup and general chat. But also, I like to start off by doing some YouTube shoutouts. Haven't done some for quite a long time, and I've got a few I want to mention. First one is Jonathan, which is Piper XIX. Great new addition to the YTPC, great channel. I think he's approaching 200 subscribers, around that mark. Great guy, great content, and I would highly recommend giving him a follow. Next we have J&D's Pipe Dreams. Again, a great channel and great addition to the YTPC. Highly recommend giving them a follow, and offer some really interesting and diverse content. And last but certainly not least is Jess Piping, and that is Jessie. Again, very new addition to the YTPC. I believe, I think he started his channel towards, or at least started presenting towards the very end of last year, kind of the very start of this year. And he's starting to put out some regular content. Great guy, great chats, and has knowledge of pipe smoking. Very entertaining, and someone again who I would recommend you give a follow. Certainly a time for discovering a lot of new people in the YTPC. It's something I enjoy doing. I enjoy kind of exploring new channels and seeing what new members of the hobby have started to present, so on and so forth. And those are free that I can encourage you to go and give a follow. If I remember, I will leave their information in the description box below. And like I said, follow on from that, this tobacco, just been smoking really well. I've smoked it in a good few pipes that I have, as I always find with any new tobacco or a tobacco that you haven't smoked for a long time. It's good to smoke it in a kind of diverse range of pipes, different size bowls, lengths, bent, straight, just to kind of see how that tobacco truly smokes. As you might get one impression from one pipe, but it could taste completely different in another pipe. So that's what I always like to do. And again, just breaking in this pipe here, which if you guys can recall, I made myself at the very tail end of last year. And it was my first smoke of the new year. And that's again definitely a tradition that I plan on carrying through for the foreseeable future. And I've not actually smoked that pipe too much. I've had a really busy last kind of week and a half, so I've not had too much time in the workshop, both to make pipes and to enjoy a pipe. But I think I've probably had maybe 6 or 7 bowls through this pipe, and it's colouring up really well and smoking fantastic, which is great to see. And regarding pipe making, actually, I've just done, this morning I drew the Jack Ryan Pipes customer giveaway draw, which I highlighted on my Instagram and on my channel a while back. Essentially, everyone who purchased a pipe from me in 2023, as a show of my thanks for the support, I was doing a kind of an end of year giveaway. So for every pipe purchased, you got one entry into the end of year draw, and that draw was drawn this morning. So I've just realised my mind went blank. Who's won that? It's John, I can't remember his last name, but John something. Mine's gone completely blank. But I've done a post about it on the community post and on my Instagram announcing the winner, which is great. And I will get in touch with John in the coming days to showcase his prize winning, which will be a pipe. And essentially I plan on doing again the same kind of prize draw for the foreseeable future. So again, any pipes purchased in 2024 will go towards, you will be entered automatically into the end of the year pipe draw, which will happen at the very end of the year. I think that's enough for it in kind of announcements, if I can recall. I'm sure there's something else I'm forgetting. Yes, there is. To finish off announcements, I've mentioned towards the end of last year a few inquiries about some of the pipes, and I plan on doing an estate pipe sale next week. I will finalise it 100% on what day, but it will either be next Saturday or Sunday. It's not a huge selection of pipes, probably 7 or 8, maybe 9 estate pipes. They're from my personal collection, estate pipes that I collected over the last couple of years, but ones that I can't smoke because they're unfiltered. And because I only smoke filtered pipes these days, I think they deserve a better home. So keep an eye out for that, as I'll try and remember to post some information in advance of that and prior. And yeah, been a busy week, but I've also got some nice new items in, which again I would show a video of maybe even tonight actually, if I get the chance. I got my first new humidor in for a long time. I currently have, well, prior to yesterday, I had a single large desktop humidor, which I've had for about maybe 4 years. I've had other humidors previous years, but typically the ones I bought prior to the one I currently own, they were slightly lesser quality, or they were too small, to where I decided to essentially just upgrade maybe 4 or 5 years ago to a much larger count humidor, and that served me very well. However, it is now full, and although I'm buying a lot less cigars these days than I was previously, and I'm smoking a lot less because of the cost of cigars, when I do buy cigars, I will have nowhere to store them. So it was about time I invested in a second humidor, and that's what I've done. So it is currently in this seasoning process, which again I'll go into more depth about how to season a humidor for people that don't know. But it takes, the way I do it, it takes a week and a half, 2 weeks to properly season it, and then after that I can put in the cigars that I currently have just kept in a Boveda kind of Ziploc bag, as my other humidor is full, as I mentioned. So yeah, it's exciting to get that in. It's the first new kind of large accessory that I've had for a while. Yes, I buy pipes all the time, different kind of pipe accessories, but for cigars I rarely buy new cigar cutters or lighters, ashtrays, and especially very, very rarely buy humidors. Like I said, it's probably the first one in the last 5-6 years. So of course I will keep the one I already have. I'll essentially have 2. The one I purchased, it says it's a 50 count humidor, but as I'm sure some people will be aware, they always say approx, because at the end of the day it completely depends upon the size of cigars that are in there. If you have 50 petite Coronas, it would probably, you still have quite a bit of room. If you tried to put 50 double Coronas in there, it probably would not fit. So although you might see kind of advertised as a 50, 75 or 100 count humidor, it's all completely subjective upon what cigars you put in and the sizes, of how many you can actually fit in there. apart from that, I don't believe I've got any new deliveries in the last couple of weeks. I managed to stock up my cellar a good bit over the kind of festive period and towards the start of the new year. Managed to thankfully stock up on some of the HU blends that are now discontinued, the ones which were made by Dan Tobacco, to where I've got my cellar in sorts there, to where, is it enough? Of course not. Kind of blends that you enjoy that are now discontinued, you can never really have enough, because if I was to smoke, say, HU Haymaker or HU Dot Worker at the same pace as I normally do, the tins I have in the cellar, they would last me a few years, but they wouldn't last me more than, say, 3 or 4 years, to where I'll certainly have to kind of cut back how often I smoke those blends. For example, Dot Worker, in the past few months, I've been at least once a week I would have that blend, to where if I wanted to see my cellar stocks last of that, I'll probably have to cut that down to maybe once every 2 weeks or even once a month. Which, at the end of the day, isn't the end of the world. I've got plenty of tobaccos to enjoy, and there's always new tobaccos I'm exploring and discovering as viable alternatives, but also just new blends in themselves. Tobacco tastes really good. Burning's isn't the greatest burn, but that's because, I'll be honest, I didn't let it dry for very long at all. As with many flake tobaccos, I find that you need to let it sit and dry for at least 10-15 to really get a consistent burn from the off. Whereas after you smoke a pipe for, say, 10-15-20 minutes, or get, say, halfway through the bowl, I find that the burn issue kind of sorts itself out, which is always a good thing. But yeah, posted a few more videos this week. I've got still a few to upload that I've filmed, and in addition, once my humidor is seasoned and I've got the cigars put in there and that kind of area organised, I plan on doing kind of a filming session, maybe even a two or three part series where I kind of document where I house my humidors and my cigar accessories and talk through them, as I know people are interested in that, and I myself am interested in whatever people have, kind of what accessories they use and they own. And then following on from that, pipe making's been going well. I think currently I've got 2 available pipes. I've got a brass banded brandy, and actually this one in front of you, this plateau topped straight grain natural Dublin, are currently the only 2 available pipes on the website. Got a few commissions I need to work my way through, which I'll be getting underway tomorrow and over the next following days. And then, as always, working on availables. Just actually got a delivery of rod stock in yesterday, so I'm topped up on black ebonite and red and black Cumberland, which are, I would say, probably the 2 main choices of rod stock I use. You might have noticed I'm starting to slowly expand out into using some different colours and types of ebonite. Of course, one of them being this black and purple that I used on the pipes of the year, and a few other pipes since, which I really like. And I'm hoping to also slowly start using some more acrylic. Acrylic stems, personally, I'm not the biggest fan personally of acrylic to work with. I find working with ebonite enjoyable. It's easy to cut, easy to sand, Acrylic can be slightly harder to work with, I find. They kind of blunt your tools a bit more, and just because it's a much more harder and dense material, just not as easy to shape. But I also realise that there is a market that for people that only like acrylic stems, as there is a market for people that only like ebonite stems. So yeah, that's something I do hope to do in the coming weeks and months, is to start to include more acrylic in my pipe making. But yeah, that being said, that's kind of a bit of a shout out update, smoking video. And like I said, I will hope to tonight or maybe tomorrow. It might be better to film it tomorrow during daylight. My new humidor, and kind of I'll do a brief overview and kind of almost a tutorial discussion about why someone should season their humidor and how, and the method I use personally. But yeah, that being said, hope you guys take care. You have a great rest of your weekend. Cheers.